Welcome to the Tabletop Gaming Guild show. The Tabletop Gaming Guild show is all about the experiences and memories that playing tabletop games with friends and family can create. And on this episode, we will be doing our end of year recap. What are the games we have been playing? What have we loved this year? What have we hated this year? What have we been excited about this year? And maybe what are we looking forward to next year?
So I guess I'll start off because, I like talking. And one of the things I just wanted to start off with was I had a really great gaming year. We did like 500 and some videos this year. So we had so many games get to the table. I had so many games come out of my collection. It's like purge year completely.
Huge turnover. Just keep them rolling. Keep them rolling.
And it's a great problem to have, like have tons of really great game come in and be like, well, you know what, this one's not quite as good as this one, or have this one replace one. It's a lot of fun. But one I will say really surprised me was one that we have a last minute review for that actually literally just came in and is due really quickly. So I picked it up, and that's Percival game. It is not really an RPG, and it's not really a board game, but it feels like you're playing an RPG. So it has app, which is their website. So it's not like an app you download or anything. And it's fully narrated. So it's like the GM is there going through the story. It's a little bit of like your decisions matter. It's a very tough game, an unforgiving game. If you make a mistake and you die, start it over the episode or whatever section you're at.
Oh wow.
But I found that happen only once, and I did really dumb thing. So when you're at 1 health, you're not Uhtred. You're not gonna run up and cut off the ogre's thing's head. It cuts your head off. So, but I really was floored with how great the solo experience is for the game. I don't play a lot of solo games, and I definitely don't play a lot of RPGs, but I like the idea of an RPG, and I really like this. So I was really surprised at how amazing the game is. And you could really tell how much time they put into it to make it an amazing experience. Also, I'm a huge sucker for the screen printed acrylic standees, because A, you don't have to paint them. B, they look amazing. C, they look amazing. And D, I don't have to paint them. So I am really looking forward to play that more. I'm going to try to get at least 2 or 3 more sessions in before I do a review. But, I'm pretty sure my review is going to be extremely high for this game. So that was my biggest surprise of the year for myself. Because I didn't know what I was getting into. And I was actually, honestly, when I got the box and I found out I need to review it, I was like, but I'm very, very happy that I did. So what were the biggest surprises for you guys this year? The biggest things that really caught your eye and were amazing for you? Gaming wise, so RPG, board game, or whatnot. I know Nathan might have one. Okay, so John might have one.
I have one. Like one of them, I mean, the first one that comes to mind was Heat.
All right. The pedal to the metal one.
Heat pedal to the metal. Yeah. Like that was just pretty much, I don't know, it felt like a really good racing game. And I mean, and it's held up every time I've played it since. I mean, it is currently my favorite racing, like racing themed game. And I mean, I don't know, I just really liked how, like, I was kind of surprised by it because, racing wasn't one that I'm hugely fond of. I enjoy them, but, it was kind of like, it's like, sure, why not? It's, my usual, thoughts on them. But when I played it, I really liked it. I liked the kind of the little, like the deck management, like the kind of give and take of managing how bad you're messing up your deck by throwing in a bunch of heat, and like there was a lot of strategy. It's kind of like, all right, I'm going to take this turn. I'm going to try and take this turn in third gear. I got 2 1s, and in my hand, I could do it. as long as I don't get unlucky on my next draw,
You're singing the "Going the Distance" song. Going the
Yeah.
distance. Go the
Yes.
Last place, but
Yeah, I mean, every time I played it, it's always come down to like the finish line where, like at least the first three people going across it, are like within a couple of spaces of each other. So it's got the whole like it's competitive, and each of us are like kind of doing a little bit different thing. Like and so it's kind of like you kind of balancing, oh man, I got these 2 1s. I'm saving it for this turn up ahead so I can take this at a higher speed.
Yeah.
Or even like some other people is like, I have no choice. Heart of the cards is take what's on the top of the deck. Hopefully doesn't, wreck
That's
me.
a Yu-Gi-Oh reference, by the way.
Yeah.
And he has no blue eyes, white dragon.
White dragon?
Yeah, blue eyes, white dragon.
Yeah. But so Heat Pedal to the Metal, I think is my second favorite racing game. And my first favorite, I don't know necessarily why. I think it's nostalgia mainly, but I still like Formula D better. But I do think that Heat is a better design game, and that's mainly because the time difference between the two. But
yeah,
when do you get a little stick shift?
Yeah, I know it has this little stick shift. Too.
Yeah,
I mean,
it has
come on.
little stick shifts, little pegs, the different dice that have different numbers. Oh man.
Yep.
And 8,000 boards that you could get.
Yeah, Formula D definitely has the a lot of the physicality that really helps it, but I think Heat, I liked Heat a lot more. I love a good racing game, and Heat is probably my favorite.
Yeah, but you can't go like this, and then we go like zoom zoom, and then roll a 4. Like, oh.
They're a little bit more immersion to the theme with Formula D, but it can get a little bit finicky with
there's a lot of rules you can add to Formula D. A lot.
Yeah.
So it depends on how realistic you want it to be. And I don't want it to be very realistic because there's nothing that says fun like your tire blows out.
You mean the race doesn't last like hours and hours and hours?
Well, you can. They have ones where you can do the real amount of laps.
Oh
like,
my gosh!
I'm out. No,
yeah,
no,
I don't need.
out.
I don't
You
need
do
that
3
much.
laps, and
I don't
I'm
need
done.
that much immersion.
Yeah, I'm
I
like,
do not
I'm
need
good.
that.
I will say, as someone who has watched NASCAR, the full races before, and had like watch parties for NASCAR, I do have a little bit of a weak spot, I guess, for racing games, but
Yeah, I mean, I really, 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 really want a Mario Kart style board game to exist that's good.
Okay, I was about to say, it's like I'm pretty certain I know of one.
There's several. And the new ones by Brotherwise Games, which is their dungeon card, I think it's called, maybe.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that looks really, really promising. I think that's the most promising one I've seen in a long time. Super excited to check that one out, but that's really what I'm looking for. I want to throw a shell or something at people and just have like a crazy time.
What was that one called?
I believe it's called Dungeon Card, but it's made by
Yeah.
Brotherwise Games. So if you look up Brotherwise Games, you'll see the ad for Dungeon Card. It's not out, as far as I know. I think it went to Kickstarter or GameFound or something. I don't remember. Probably GameFound. I don't really back games anymore, but yeah.
Thunder Road kind of has that feel, but it focuses more on like the brutality. You're going to get eliminated super quick, so it doesn't have the lighthearted, cartoony feel necessarily that you're probably looking for.
Oh, you mean Thunder Road? Is that what you said?
That's what I said. Yeah.
Oh
Thunder
yeah,
Road
I missed. I was zoned out. Yeah, so yeah, Thunder Road is a lot of fun, but it does, like I said, it doesn't give me the Mario Kart feel. It gives me more of a Mad Max feel, which is fine. It's a short game, so yeah. So what about you, Nathan or Peter? Have you had any standout moments in the year? Or
I
has
guess
it
kind of more of a
been
surprising.
Same old. Yeah, put your punch card in, do your job. You put your punch card back in to end your day and drown your miseries in coffee.
I've actually had quite a few surprises this year. A lot of great games that I've played, and a lot of them have been in the last couple months. But I do want to talk about a slightly older game that I just played, by Funko Games called Big Boss.
Ah, yes, yes.
This is the one you thought I would talk about.
Yeah, I think yeah, go for it. Go. Yeah, sorry. Go.
So Big Boss is Wolfgang Kramer's idea of what he wanted from Acquire. Well, it's basically he took Acquire, was inspired by it, and made his own game. It's very, very different from Acquire, but very much the same too. The high idea is you got a bingo style board. You're pulling tiles, putting them on the board, and as you put tiles down, well, in Acquire you pull the tiles, but in Big Boss is from card. You're buying cards to put these tiles, but as you put tiles down, you can form companies if you have tiles that are put next to each other, and these companies can eventually merge. And you're just throughout the game, you're buying stocks into the various companies and trying to grow those companies to make your stocks worth more. And I recently did a comparison of these two games that if you want to, know a little bit more of it, but I do enjoy both these games a lot. Big Boss was definitely more intense throughout the entire game, whereas Acquire has really intense, exciting moments, and they're both phenomenal.
Yeah, and just so you know, Acquire was is a reprint, or not Acquire. Big Boss was a reprint by Funko Games. It's actually my current favorite Funko game. Most Funko games are in the area for younger children, and they do shine in that area, so they're collectible and their rules are simple, so younger kids can definitely get them, and they really shine there from like 6 on up. But 6 to 8 is where most of the games go. So I was really pleasantly surprised by Big Boss, and I did like that they kept the original rules, and then they put the new rules done by the designer. And I sort of like I actually ended up playing both ways, and I definitely, because I didn't play the original Big Boss, sorry, and I like the new Big Boss rules a lot more. I like gaining that money every time you do stuff. The original Big Boss rules were really hard when I played it to get moving, so the game was a lot slower and a little bit more frustrating because you're just like, I have no money. And yeah, so yeah, great pick, Nathan. I really like Big Boss. How about you, Peter?
Peter,
I know a standout moment for me that was with you.
Oh gosh, yeah.
That I will do, but if you don't,
I will say so there are two games that when I think about my year of playing board games that have really stood out for me. And again, out of all of these guys, I probably played the least amount of board games. I don't get them to the table nearly as often as I would like. But the standout moments for me, one of them has been with John and Evan and Jose and Kim. The King's Dilemma has really been a lot of fun. I can see where this game, like if you weren't with the right crew of people, probably who weren't just like really getting immersed in kind of the whole setup, then I could see how many people could probably just bounce off of this game. But because we are as a group wholly bought into the scenario of this game, we're making food every time, everybody's bringing some drinks so that we can have them in our goblets. We are just really, really enjoying this game, and it's been for me a blast. And finally I won one. I don't know that I will more than likely not win the entire game, even though none of us know who's going to win it. But the fact that the next time we play, I get to name the king is super fun and exciting. So that one's been a real good standout. If you like role-playing games and you like board games and you like legacy games and you feel like you could just really get a group together to just totally buy into the setup, then I think this would be a really great game for your group. So I'm really glad Evan invited me to join in on this one. And then the other one that I I had no expectation that this game would be as good as it is. And I'm so sad that I only got to play it so far once this year. And that is The Last Kingdom. Yeah, and I can't help but keep talking about it just because um, everybody knows on here I'm a librarian. I'm a bit of I'm not as big of a book nerd as I used to be, but I still love books. And I have read the entire series of these books by Bernard Cornwell. As soon as I found out they were going to do a show, I was sold, and I watched all of the show as it came out, and I've watched it multiple times. And the fact that they were like, "Oh, we're going to do a board game, and it's going to be based on The Last Kingdom." Again, I'm not a designer, so I just wasn't sure quite how that was going to work, and was it going to feel like the books? Was it going to capture the theme of the books? And so much of the theme of that series is the shifting alliances that the different characters have to go through as they are being torn between the group that they are either born into or raised in, and the specific individuals who have become their found family, and at times fighting with each other, and at other times finding themselves on opposite ends of these battlefields. um and the game does that. And I did not, I again, not a designer, wasn't sure how they'd pull that off. I think they absolutely pulled it off in a really interesting way. It's very tense in certain areas. And I've only just scratched the surface because I've only played it one time. James, how many times have you had the chance to play this now?
Like 6.
Okay. And have you had a what you would call like a flop session with it yet?
No, because it's all around the people.
Okay.
And sometimes people betray you
Yeah.
and you don't forget.
Ever.
Or forgive.
Or forgive.
Forgive.
I know. I'm going to James's house. I think I'm going to go to James's house and play a game. I might not leave his house. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to turn out. But I was so close to winning.
Yeah.
It's a really, really well designed game. And because I enjoyed the show, I don't mind how it looks, but I
Yeah.
get why other people might. But again, I think I said it, I said it as much as I could by saying kind of what the real heart and theme of the books are in the show is, and the fact that they captured it in this game with the shifting alliances, absolutely floored me. I was at the last game convention. James is like, let's play it. I was like, sure, why not? I loved that game.
Yeah. And what he's talking about, the art, is they use movie stills, which a lot of people don't like. I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
The
I mean, it's
stills,
not, it's
the game
not,
is amazing.
it's not like they're crap movie stills
Yeah, no,
either. I mean, they look good. They're clear. They're crisp. They look good. But if you
Yeah.
don't like that, then I can see why you might bounce off of it. But I mean, if you like area control, if you like card management stuff that you have to utilize, and if you like backstabbing people,
Yeah, you do backstab a lot.
yeah.
And the best thing is they're not backstabbing you by playing a stupid card like
Nope.
Munchkin. They're backstabbing you in the most diplomatically painful way in that game.
If when they do it, they mean to do it.
Yeah, they mean to do it, and you're like,
it's not by accident. It's on purpose.
Yeah.
So no, that was probably those are the two really standout moments for games for me this year, when it comes to specifically board games. So I do have other standout moments that have happened at my table for my role playing games, but I'll talk about those in a bit. Let somebody else talk for a second.
Well, I mean, going on the Last Kingdom, when you're talking about that's the name of the game, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm usually not a fan of having like stills for the card art because it usually looks pretty bad. But you know what? It didn't look bad with that one, from what I remember.
Yeah, they took a lot of time. It's really, really hard to have a still that doesn't look horrible.
Yeah.
Movie stills, that is, because the movie really aren't filmed in a way that does any sort of like stop motion like awesomeness.
Yep. And then also kind of on the King's Dilemma, which has been a lot of fun. I agree with a lot of things you said there. Partially because House Sanders may have named
I was going to say down with House Sanders.
Oh my gosh, Hal Sanders! Everybody watching, John has thoroughly ruled at this game so far. You have definitely won. You've probably named at least 7 or 8 kings, right?
I would say that many.
I would
probably about there's at least 5, maybe.
Oh no,
I did run out of all the pun standard names that
I'm
I
gonna
had, 'cause
say.
I
I'm
already
gonna
named.
say.
I
I'm
got
gonna say
King
7.
Bernie, King Dion. King.
Larry was in there.
Yep, Larry Sanders. Yeah,
Colonel
I've had to
was
dip into
in
Larry
there.
Sanders.
Yeah, there was I would say it's at least 5 or 6, but it's been a lot, so I can understand why John would enjoy it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's more than that though. It is kind of like the theme, and I felt quite outclassed for a long time, namely because of Kim and Evan, because they have those cool goblets, and so I got tired of it.
Oh,
I need to get one. I need to bring mine with me next time. I've got a really good one, and not a goblet. I'm gonna bring a stein, probably, but but we'll have to. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Well, King's Dilemma would probably be on my list of ones to talk about for break. Amazing games from this year, except for I'm cooler than you. I got to play it last year.
Shut it! Shut it!
I got to play it once last
Queen's
year.
Dilemma.
No, I have not. It's not out.
It's not
yet.
out yet.
I haven't got...
Not out yet.
Oh, I didn't know it was out yet.
Evan's waiting for it to show up at this point.
Yep,
but when it
same.
does, hopefully it's going to time out pretty close to when we finish King's Dilemma, so we can roll over into it.
Yeah. All right. So one of the things actually I wanted to talk to Peter about, because I was pretty interested, you've reviewed a crap ton of RPG games. Like
oh my
many
gosh,
RPG, so much reading.
This is going to be like Pete's disappointment of the year, probably. But go ahead.
What was some of the let's do it that way. What was an RPG that you were super excited about that disappointed you? And what RPG were you going into maybe not having great expectations of it and then exceeding your expectations?
Okay, interesting. So probably let's go with a different reason for disappointment for a second.
Okay. So we're gonna see.
My biggest
Peter's
reason
a very nice person.
No, I might be mean in a second, but we'll see.
Okay.
My biggest reason that I've got disappointment for RPGs is the fact that I read so many really great sounding RPGs, and they haven't hit my table yet. I haven't played them yet, and that is a big disappointment. Specifically, top of my list that I really, really wanted to get around to playing this year, but did not. I really, really wanted to play Forbidden Lands by Free League Publishing.
Yeah.
I've never done a full-on hex crawl role-playing game, and this one looks and sounds like a lot of fun. And could lend itself to some really interesting stories being told. So I'm disappointed that one didn't make it to the table. And man, do I really want to play Dragonbane? I really want to play Dragonbane. And honestly, I've got nobody but myself to blame. You can play they when you buy the starter kit, it comes with a solo. It comes with the solo play adventure. And I mean, the year's not over yet. I've got a couple weeks. I somehow might be able to get that solo play to the table, but I'm not going to get
New Year's.
But I'm not going to get it to the table with a group, which is what I would really like to do. Because I'm with James. I don't do solo games all that often. I am a social person, so I want to play games with other people. So those two are the ones that were like top of mind when I thought of what were the games RPGs I wanted to get to the table this year, and I didn't. So disappointment. Is everybody ready? Is everybody ready to
Yep.
have their
I'm
minds
ready.
blown?
I'm ready.
I,
Take the
I
gloves
mean, I know what
off
my
and start the
disappointment with
slapping.
RPGs is.
I don't remember the last time I bought a new D&D game, new D&D book. I've been disappointed in some of the newest additions to the game. They've not grabbed my attention, and that's okay because I'm not their only person. There's a lot of other people out there who want to play their games, and their adventures, and so I haven't been overly enamored with the stuff that's been coming out recently. And then I will be completely honest, and I don't normally say stuff like this because I'm not a clickbaity person, and we're not going to put it in the title of this anyways. But I'm going to go ahead and just put it out there. If anybody's been watching the news, like 1,100 people were just recently fired right before Christmas
At Hasbro.
at
Yeah.
Hasbro,
Yeah, Hasbro.
and quite a few of those are coming from Magic and D&D.
Yep.
And I'm too nice to say the words I want to say right now, and we're a family friendly show. But
Oh, I was about to say, I'll say.
Oh, they're all diaper heads.
but I am completely just gobsmacked and dumbfounded at the decision that was being made there. And so I've for other reasons, but this reason included. And as much as I mean, D&D's always going to be that first RPG that I've played. I can't wait to get a different RPG to my table personally.
Yeah.
At this
No,
point, like that's just me. That's just me being personal. And I've had a lot of great times playing D&D this year, and I'll still continue having great times playing D&D. But there's so many other really great games out there. I think it's time for them to shine. And Hasbro's not doing anything to make me like them anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That has put a really bad taste in my mouth when it comes to the company. I'm not going to say the people making the game, because there's a lot of really great people making the game.
Yeah.
And I like them a lot.
Yeah. And that's not the first time Hasbro's been a dirtbag.
Oh no, I know.
This year.
Yeah.
This year, yeah. Like
I mean,
sending the Pinkertons on a person.
OGL.
Yeah.
Which,
There's been a lot of stuff happening.
To be fair, it's their product.
Yeah.
So my problem is the way that they acted. So as a company, they can say, you know what, you just can't do it anymore. Fine. But the way that they acted around it was not cool.
Yeah. There's a lot of, so I guess I'll kind of wrap my bit up there with the fact that I just really hope that a lot of these other companies that are making kick butt games get some of these awesome people.
I really hope that's
staff.
A lot of good talent that was.
It's cut. A lot of great talent. I'm hoping that I'm hoping they're gonna find a great job with a great company quickly.
Unfortunately, it's a horrible time of year too for that.
It's awful.
Yeah, it is. I could definitely empathize with that.
So,
because unemployment, they're gonna go 2 weeks without a pay.
Yep,
it's just the worst. I mean, they're the worst company. Well, they're probably not the worst company, but they're pretty close.
But for right now,
in my head, they are.
In this moment.
Right now,
this moment.
In recent memory.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So I would say that would be a couple of my biggest disappointments. That there were a couple of games that I really wanted to play, I haven't had a chance to play yet. And that whole shenanigans going on there. So.
Well, on a positive note related to RPGs, I am really happy to see Free League has been really supporting Morkborg Universe. They got Cyborg out, they got Pirate Borg, and it looks like they've made it available for third-party people. So there's a lot of content coming on related to this Morkborg mechanic, which I really love. It's a super straightforward rule set. I mean, we did it on the channel. I really only did like a 5-minute this is how you play the game, and this is how you let's create a character, and then we were able to play.
Oh yeah, we got
that's
right into
good.
that game and had a really good session. I really
I almost
enjoyed
died
it.
800 times.
It was perfect.
My monkey died.
It only would have been better if he had died.
Yeah, I know. I was like ready to die. Nathan probably was like, you know what? He don't deserve to die.
No,
You were
it's
gonna
good.
live.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. Oh, the one. Go ahead.
If we had more time for the session, I definitely would have killed you all.
Yeah, you're definitely. I was waiting for it. I was towards the end. I was like, I don't care. I'm swinging.
So
Wait,
I,
were you
I-
guys
I-
playing
Really
Paranoia?
good rolls, which
I-
probably
right.
pissed Nathan off.
I
He's
think
like,
we need to
I
do
got
a-
a 20. I got a 20. I got a 20.
we need to do a follow-up. Nathan needs to run for us again, but this time I want Pirate Board.
Pirate Board
Oh,
would be
yeah.
a lot of fun. Yeah. I really want to play the One Ring, not the fifth ed version. I want to play
Oh, no. Yeah,
Free
for sure.
Leagues
Mm-hmm.
One Ring. I've been reading through that core book, and I'm super excited to play that. I don't want to run it in any way.
No, I
You know?
James is like, when's Peter gonna step up and run this game for me?
Well, I mean, it's unfair for someone to be the GM all the time. And I am going to eventually, someday, I can and I will run a Mistborn RPG game.
I'm looking forward to
So,
it. Looking forward to it.
I think that's going to be amazing. I think I want to really do my arcing storyline.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to do a lot of sessions where you get to play your characters, and then it wraps up hopefully with you surviving.
Yeah.
And then on the in the second part, your ancestors will run as in that age. So really excited about that. But yeah. So yeah, there were so many good RPGs. So many RPGs you reviewed where I was like, that sounds awesome. But I do not want to read it. And you have to do all the work for me if I'm gonna play it.
So, Peter, you told me I need to start working on my pirate accents.
Okay, let's see this.
I'm not gonna do it right now. No.
You're like,
I
"Arr!"
gotta.
Yeah, give him some practice. And I'll this will be a shameless, a total aside and plug.
Oh.
If you go to your library's website and they have access to Mango Languages does have a how to speak pirate portion of their app. So you need to get in
it's
there.
awful.
If you've ever wanted to know what all of those things that the pirates are saying actually mean, it explains those things.
Okay.
So there you go. And there is a national pirate speaking day, like speak like a pirate
There
day.
is, yes.
It is an actual thing. I think it's every September at some
something
day
like
in
that.
September.
Well, I mean, it has to be September.
Right, exactly.
It's the most annoying day at work.
All right,
That's what
and
it is.
real quick, I will throw it out because James did ask for it. What's one of the RPGs that I read that I was hopefully kind of excited about, and by the time I read it, I was like, no, I will not be running Avatar.
That game. Okay, so
There's some good there are some things to like about it if you're like a super big Avatar fan, but I don't think as a game person.
okay, yeah. It runs the Apocalypse engine.
Right.
Which I didn't know I was completely not a fan of, but that wasn't my problem.
Okay.
My problem is that Avatar RPG, I'm a huge Avatar fan. I love Avatar. I wanted something in the entire thing that I got that did anything at all
With bending?
with, well, there's that, but with a story, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Even the sessions are like one page. I'm like, it's like they didn't try. The majority of the book is one-page pictures of like player sheets and stuff. Half of the core book is just player sheets.
It's just, yeah. I mean, there's a whole, like, if you're into the whole lore thing, there's a lot of lore in there that you can find out.
Yes,
but
it's not like the Mistborn books.
No,
That's
no.
all lore, yeah.
No. So yeah, and speaking of next year's RPGs, we're looking forward to them. We're looking forward to them. Brandon Sanderson, Stormlight Archive RPG.
Yes, we are.
I'm telling you what, people, if you've not looked into the Brandon Sanderson Stormlight RPG that is coming out next year, the team of people working on this are top notch. I've been following some of these people for years, and the fact that they got this crew together, fingers crossed. I don't know how they're not going to knock this one out of the park.
Well,
they got some really great people.
All.
Just
blindly
do it.
Buy it all. That's what I'm going to do.
Just do it. It's going to be good.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even care if the RPG sucks, but that would be bad.
I don't think it's going to.
I just want all the extra content.
Yeah, I get it.
I think it's going to be amazing.
I don't think. I mean, again, I have played games by some of these people before. I don't know how they could get this crew together and it not end up being anything but stellar. So I've got my eye on that one for when they're ready to actually do some stuff with it. So
at least 2 of us are crazy Brandon Sanderson fans. You can already tell which 2. But they're coming out with a Mistborn deck building game. Holy monkeys. Am I excited for that too? What is Brotherwise Games doing? They're hitting it out of the park. I am so excited about all the Brandon Sanderson content they're putting out. And I sort of knew ahead of time because I knew Crafty Games was losing the license for Mistborn at the end of the year. And, Brotherwise did the Kickstarter with the miniatures, and they were sort of like dancing around actually doing Mistborn stuff. Now, they did do Call to Adventure. They did a Stormlight Archive version of that, which has amazing art in it. I really, really like that. I think that they did a great job on the art in that game. But I was really looking for like the deck builder, the RPG, some board games. I'm so excited.
So we've talked a lot right now about some RPG stuff and things, and we've talked about things that surprised us kind of in good ways. Has anybody talked about things that I talked about disappointments in RPGs, but what about board games? What were games that you guys were really looking forward to here in 2023 that just flopped hard for you?
Well, I'll let them think for a second. Go ahead. You got one? Go.
I got one, and
they're both like, yeah,
they're ready. They're ready.
I'm ready.
I've been
so
disappointed.
Well, it might be the same one.
All right,
let's find out. Let's find out.
But we'll see.
Let's do John first. He's got the least talking so far.
That's fine.
All right. So mine was actually I'm trying to find the name of it now here because I don't want to say the wrong one because I played 2 Star Wars games this year.
Oh my god! If you say Outer Rim,
Star Wars Outer Rim was definitely not the disappointing one.
Good, because that game's amazing. I was like,
I don't know about amazing, but it is pretty good.
Yeah,
it's yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10. It's getting an 8.5.
Somebody kick him off the show. Somebody. Kick him off the show.
All right, so you guys let it. No, it's the Star Wars deck building game.
Oh yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, don't tell me that. I haven't had a chance to play yet. Is it not good?
No good.
Oh,
it has. Yeah, go ahead.
It has like almost a semblance of something good.
Okay.
Like you kind of I started playing. It's like, all right, yeah, okay, I'm into this. And it's like something doesn't feel right. And it's like, oh, it's just horribly balanced, and it's just. It becomes way too easy for a one-sided beatdown because it's a single deck, so it is a complete luck of the draw on whether or not anything you actually need to build your deck, because each side has specific cards that they need to build from the market, and it's completely random on if anything even shows up in the market that you could use or that you could attack. Because it's kind of like one of those things like, if the other person gets the stuff that they need to buy at the beginning and then nothing but your cards show up and they just keep on killing off your cards before you can even, buy them, that's real feel bad. And it also, it's like, and it just gives them advantage as well. Because, you're removing, like Luke Skywalker out of it. There's no way for you can get the card now because, it got removed out of the game and you never even got a chance to see it. And it's just... Yeah, it's a lot of just, it's just balance issues. Like it's just way too easy for it to just somebody just run with it and just you're behind the entire time. Like a lot of the things felt good, like because they borrow from classic, deck builder, mechanics, like having capital ships out that could choke hits, and you're attacking each other's planets, and you get to pick the order that they come out in. But I mean, the main, mechanic, the market just doesn't work for two players, and for two players where, you are looking for specific types of cards. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if there was something maybe more along the lines of, like Dominion style, where you at least set your market or something, it could possibly work, but not with how it is right now.
No, and if you always have to compare it to the previous Star Wars game, the card game. Star Wars CCG was really good. It was a CCG, but you can get those cards really cheap if you wanted to. And then the Fantasy Flight came out with the Star Wars LCG, which was really good.
Mhm.
And then this thing's junk.
Yep.
Really, it's not any good. I was very disappointed in that one too. I love Star Wars so much, and it can be a mediocre game, but I will go up higher with it. And I, whenever I do a review, I always say that because I'm just so crazy about Star Wars. But yeah, I agree. That game, not good. I'm sorry, Peter. It's just not good.
I am.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
like,
sorry to
well,
be
I
the
mean,
bearer.
I'm glad I didn't spend the money now, but I'm also super disappointed because I found myself really enjoying some deck building games, and I
Yeah,
love
and that's
and I
not
love
one.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
They are
again,
there are a
coming
lot of
out-
good deck builders out there that can't,
Yeah.
but yeah.
yeah.
They are coming out with a Star Wars CCG again, not LCG, CCG. That's coming out later, or maybe beginning of next year. I don't even know, because I try to stay away from CCGs, but I will.
Smart man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, that one intrigues me because Star Wars.
Okay.
So. Also, the Star Wars dice game was really good. Do you guys remember what that one called? That was a CCG though. I believe that one designed by Eric Lang. He did Dice Masters, but someone did the Star Wars game. It came with a big bulky, I can't remember what it's called, but it came with big bulky dice that were custom dice. And you could get the starter set, and then you could get booster packs, and you get these big bulky dice, and you would do duels with it, and that worked really well. So you can find, I think that one's discontinued, so if you can find that cheap, do it. I don't remember what it's called though. Nathan, you had a disappointment, which was probably not the Star Wars card game.
No. I actually had a few ones. One of them you can see on the channel, and that's the City of the Great Machine.
No, I like that one. No, I like that one. What's wrong with you?
No, I'm with Nathan on this one.
Oh,
It's yay. Okay,
so
yay. We have conflict.
City of the Great Machine is a mediocre game, to be honest. But I feel
like that's being generous.
No, it's a playable game. The iconography sucks really bad because it's really hard to tell where anything's on the board. But I really like the theme. Go ahead. Tell me
I like the theme. No.
Tell me why you don't like it, Nathan.
I like the theme too, but there did seem to be a lot of times where there wasn't a whole lot you could do to be useful. It was more about making sure your distractions so the useful person could do something. And the fact that you could be, as a group, making one area very valuable, but you can't tell people that you can't even go into that area ever in the game. It did get a little frustrating.
Yeah, and I think in the beginning, it seems like it's easier for the revolutionaries, but it quickly becomes very impossible for them when the machine ramps up and gets all those, what, I don't remember what they were. Were they action points or what? Who cares what they were? Things that they spent.
I don't know, it's not fun.
To do horrible things to you.
It's just not fun.
I did have fun playing it, but all right. So I will mention, so just so everyone knows, 99% of all the games I review I don't give them a bad review. I always try to find where I think they shine.
James says I'm nice.
And you can really tell when I don't. If I don't like a game, I say it. If I can't figure out anywhere that it would work. So yeah, you could tell if I really, really, really hate a game. But in general, I most games pass. You can tell if I really like it if I say it's gotta go in my collection.
Well, you also will say, well, this is not my kind of game, which means usually means you
Yeah,
really don't
it's
like it at all.
like I don't like it at all. Yeah, if I say it's not my kind of game, I hated it. But I figured like it fits some other. Like I look at previous games and people like, and I'm like, man, they probably like this. So
Yeah.
except for
Look,
tapeworm.
if you gave me the
Tapeworm's
choice
worst.
between playing Monopoly or playing that game, no, I'm playing
What the
Monopoly.
heck? No, no. And that like it's crazy
Yeah.
because Monopoly's everywhere now. They're like Monopoly Go. You can play the app that's just Monopoly.
Oh,
And
dear
it's funny
Lord.
because they do those commercials and the worst parts of Monopoly they're showing on there. It's just like, I don't know. Who is this for?
I was just in the store the other day, and it just blew my mind how many different versions.
Right. Like
How many different versions there were.
I can't
And
even tell like how many versions people have bought and given to me as gifts.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I got
like how many
Yeah.
I bet you almost every single household in the United States has a copy of Monopoly in it. And
No,
probably
3, I
about
think.
70% of them don't play it.
I have
I'll
0
give you one.
copies.
I'm going to leave one in your house.
Nope,
It's
don't
like-
do it.
It's like, look under the floorboards.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna have to hide it. You're gonna have to hide it, because if I find it, it's going in the burn pile.
You know, we should. Oh man, we should do a movie. Everyone likes aliens, right? So
Mhm.
instead of aliens, you were getting attacked by Monopoly boards.
Ooh.
And if you get touched by the Monopoly board, you die the worst death. You start liking Monopoly and you just play it forever.
Nice.
We could shoot up so many copies of Monopoly, blow them up,
This is hilarious.
leave Nathan playing Monopoly forever. Nathan's like, I'll be the cameraman.
I did have another disappointment that I want to mention. This is a game that I expected to be bad,
Mm.
and it still disappointed me because it was far worse than I expected it to be. And that's The Binding of Isaac.
Oh man, that game's awful.
I thought
There's a lot of people that like
Munchkin
it. I
was
did
great
not like
game
it.
comparison.
I did not like it.
It is a pure take that. It's very
Yeah.
random. It's
So basically, it's like the
it's-
Munchkin crowd.
No,
Yeah,
because
but
Munchkins is
worse.
shorter. And
yes.
oh yeah, the Binding of Isaac's a longish game, and it's awful to take that. And it really doesn't seem to progress very much. You just get to the point where you're like, I need this to be over. And
Yeah, we
you're like, you
literally-
have cards, and you're like, nah, you could just win. I'm done.
Oh man.
we 100% did that when we played it. It's like we played it once. It's like this game needs to end. There, I lost. Game is over. Thank you.
Let's go get a drink.
Oh
of
goodness.
apple juice. Yeah, no, that
Ugh.
yeah.
right,
They
so
did. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I got a different question if we want to go with the different
Go
question.
for it. Go for it. We're talking about whatever we want. This is year in review.
Right. So then I guess for me, I'd like to know what is, and this is again, not the easiest question to answer probably. What is what was your favorite game related purchase this year?
Mhm.
What is your favorite game related purchase? And again, games are broad here. What is your favorite purchase this year?
Hmm.
I'll go first, I guess, since people are thinking.
Yeah, go.
And my favorite purchase for the year, which actually ended up to be slight disappointment, was Last Light.
Oh,
So you'll see this in my review when I actually do it. I do think that the production quality of the non-deluxe version of Last Light is horrible. So they have a whole bunch of cardboard chits for everything. That's fine. But then they have this amazing insert done by Game Trays that nothing fits in. The planets, the cool planets they have, they don't fit the peg wise. I don't get it. But that's not the problem. My problem is normally when you get like a big grandiose like 4X game, even if it's the non-deluxe version, the player in most all games, in fact, the player pieces themselves are normally like little plastic pieces, cubes, little tiny ships. In this, they're cardboard pieces. And it's a dual board there, so the middle spins and stuff. And it's actually a pain in the butt to move those little cardboard player pieces around. It would have been better if they just did them as cubes instead of those cardboard pieces. So it almost feels like they made that version purposely inferior to a high level. And the game's not cheap. I believe the MSRP is like $60, and it's not worth $60. I don't care about the lollipop planets. I would have rather them had cardboard discs down and had plastic player pieces, because that's what I move around, or cubes or something. The deluxe version doesn't have any of those problems because it's the deluxe version. So I think that one's fine, but that one's a little expensive. I really think that the base game one is not worth purchasing. Either play it with someone else or buy the deluxe version. But yeah, that was mine. I was very... when we play last night, you'll see what I'm talking about with those little cardboard pieces. I'm having a friend 3D print them, but they will not be ready.
I love it, James. James is like, my favorite purchase, and I have all of these things that I don't like about this version.
Yeah, so I mean, the game itself, I love.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad.
There's a lot to love about the game.
Yeah,
Roy Kennedy did a really great job designing. I just feel the base game felt
just got the shaft.
Yeah, stuff. Yeah.
Anybody
How about
else?
you guys?
Favorite game? Favorite game related purchase?
Yeah. And I've actually talked about this a lot on the channel. I hate to repeat myself all the time, but thanks to Evan, I was able to get my hands on a copy of Shiver Me Timbers.
Nice.
Yes. And what type of version?
The deluxe version, of
Yes,
course.
with the metal coins. The metal coins.
Nice. That's awesome.
It's so nice.
I'm happy for you, man.
It's so hard to get.
And oddly, Evan has my copy. And if you watch our video on Nemesis, how much fun I had in that, I've actually turned around a little bit. I like Nemesis, so I have a copy of Nemesis over there.
Okay, nice.
Mhm.
Even though I got my revenge on you in Nemesis for a previous game.
Yeah, even yeah. I mean, go ahead, John.
John, what about you?
Oh, see, that's I'm kind of torn because
Okay.
I mean I could go with the answer of just giving the board game purchase that I'm most happy with, which would have been Great Western Trail New Zealand. But you just said game related purchase.
Game related purchase.
Oh, so we're going with an insert or something?
What do we
Nope.
got? What do we got?
We're going with all the money I spent going out to Origins.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, that's game related purchase.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, like for me, it's like, I go every year, and that's because I have a bunch of friends that I, have known since, 2000. And that's kind of like one of our, just yearly, we all go, we get a hotel room, we play games the entire week. It's kind of like our, we make sure we stay in touch, and
that's awesome.
It's just kind of, it's when we go and hang out with the, with the crew, and
I don't think I knew that.
I
didn't know that you went annually. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, I've gone every year since, man, sometime in the 2010s. But yeah,
I've only been once. I'd love to go again. I really enjoyed myself, and apparently you were there, and I just didn't know you.
Yep.
Among the thousands of other people,
among the the tens of thousands of people there, it's almost like, where's Waldo? I'd be like, I don't know you, but I will.
I loved my Origins experience. It was great.
Here's the thing though, if we had known each other that time, I would have come across you, because I just wind up coming across all kinds of people. It's like, oh hey, I didn't know you were going to be here.
Yeah, so, I ran into Dude and his daughter there.
Oh yeah, they go there, on and off.
Yeah. So, all right, awesome. So all the money you spent going to Origins and getting all sorts of stuff and hanging out. I love it.
Yep. Oh
How
yeah,
about you,
like
Peter?
So mine's gonna be I mean, it's kind of a bit of a, it's not a cop out because I'm spending the money. Technically, the money's not being spent until early January, but
Okay.
I have allotted the money for it. So I've been playing D&D since 2015.
Oh, you're so dang young.
I know I'm such a baby.
Yeah.
So I started playing D&D in 2015. So
Yeah.
this is my 8-year anniversary of being an RPG person and playing RPGs. Um, so since pretty much since then, since I started playing, right around then, it might have been 2016 was when Matt Colville started doing his running the game YouTube series, talking about, you know, getting people to game master, to run games for their friends. And I've been watching his videos since then, following him. He, you know, had an awesome Kickstarter, started his own company, and they have since then been producing stuff for 5th edition of D&D. They just launched their backer kit campaign last week as of the day that we're recording this, so it would have been December 7th, for their very own original role-playing game. And they've raised just over $3 million currently for this role-playing game. I haven't been able to play it yet. Obviously, the game does not exist yet. They're looking at second quarter 2025
Okay.
for the official final like fulfillment of the campaign.
So
But
like
if you
2 years.
yeah, but if you back it, they're expecting you to have PDFs, early release packets of things to start running, probably, I would say, second quarter of next year. And if you're a Patreon of theirs, they're actually going to be releasing beta test packets for those
Okay.
individuals starting, they're hoping, by the end of this month. So you're going to be pretty much the way they sell it is if you're a Patreon, you will be playing the worst possible version of the game because it's just now being made. It's in
Well,
development.
you're like a tester.
And
Yeah.
exactly, you're beta testing. But I've been following him and his company for a while now, and it was a no questions at all that I would be backing this game.
Yeah.
And so for me personally, that's my favorite purchase, game related purchase for this year. Even though I don't have a game to play yet, but I'm following all the release, the development releases that they're telling people about, and I'm super excited for it. So
Well, hopefully they're making a Hasbro killer.
that they
Yeah.
you know it's going to be a great game, I think. So I'm looking, eventually it's probably going to be, I'm hoping, the game that I run the most, but we'll see what happens.
That'd be cool. That would be really, really cool. Also, on a side note, don't forget, if you live in the area, we have 2 conventions and we have 4 game days that are all at the Butler Library.
That's right, absolutely.
So,
So yeah, we got CosCon coming up in March.
Yep.
The next library game day is in January. And I'm so excited, I'm gonna be running Dune.
Yeah, I'm going to be running
I'm
The Last Kingdom.
Yeah.
And we're going to probably switch off.
Yeah, we have to, because I have to
Yeah.
play The Last Kingdom.
Yeah, I know. And I need to play Dune. I want to play Dune at the full play. Now he's not talking about Dune Imperium.
No.
He's talking about Dune.
Yeah.
And I want to play it at the full player.
Yeah. The Gale Force 9 revamp of Dune that came out a handful of years back. So looking forward to running that at another full player count of 6, because that's when that game shines. So, but yeah, so that's great. All of us had some really cool purchases this year.
I will say,
Well,
I don't purchase a lot of games, but Kemet. I purchased Kemet. And I'm super excited to play that, the new version. And I opened it, and that's as far as I got.
Well, I mean, I'm looking forward to, the upcoming CivCon and CosCon this year, because, I'm hoping to be able to stay the whole time and not walk out with migraines.
Yeah, I
But,
hope so. That'd be wonderful.
Yeah. And also I really want to run like a draft block tournament of Epic.
That would
Card
be
game
really,
that-
really cool. Epic's a
'Cause
really, it's a really cool game. I'm surprised it hasn't picked up more than it has. I know it is
Yeah.
popular, but it's not. I think it should be more popular.
But yeah, I have like a bunch of those packs that I got when they went on sale there. So I
Oh,
was going to give
Miniature
those out as
Market.
prizes. Yeah.
I really really like that game. And we played Sipcon.
Yeah, Civicon, I think it was, yeah.
Yeah. I also have Evan's not here, so I have to give Evan a shout out. Evan's the miniature guy. He plays lots of miniature games. He got me into miniature games a little bit. I'm still heavy board games, but I do play miniature games more than I play RPG games. And I got a really cool Star Wars game that I really want to play at CosCon. Yes, I think you're gonna like it a lot.
Yeah, I cannot wait to play that with you because I
Yeah.
think so far Evans really pulled you into the miniatures games. I've only played one so far with him.
Which one was that?
You and
The
I played
Western one?
yeah, you and I played the cowboy one,
Yeah.
and that was fun. I think we shot people. It was great.
Yeah.
It was kind of the OK Corral
Yeah, the OK
scenario.
Corral one.
Yeah, so I enjoyed that. I don't remember the name of the other one that I saw at the library game day last. Yeah, where you played the samurai one. It looked beautiful. I don't know how well it played, but it was pretty to look at.
I played that one. The thing for me for a lot of the RPG or not an RPG, a lot of the miniature games is they're just dice chuckers. So I was pleasantly surprised because I like my dungeon called dice checkers, but they have a lot of layers on top of it, and some miniature games are just dice chucking. But I was really like that one a lot because there was action cards and different things that you could do in that samurai game that I think was really cool. And like Star Wars Shatterpoint, the one I'm talking about, there's a lot of layers beyond just like, hey, I move my dude and I roll some dice. So
nice.
But that samurai game was really cool. I think Colin ran that.
Yeah.
And he had it all painted up. It's one of the, I don't know the sizes. Evan would just know.
Yeah, you would know it all.
It's like they're small sized ones. It's the small size, like this, the size you can't measure.
That measure
at all for my fingers.
Yeah,
this big. It was this big.
No, it was cool because you'd have like these little hexes of like grass with like 3 or 4 little samurai on it, and you can move them around. It looked cool.
It was really cool.
So
he ran like I don't remember what it was, like a Viking style gun game the last time.
okay.
The time before. I like that one a lot too. Don't remember what it was called. I think it was like something.
I'm sure something was in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably remember it by the end here.
That's another reason why you should go make it out to Origins, because they have tons of miniatures games there.
Yeah, but to be honest, I'll probably play Zero at Origins because I'm really there for the board games. I mean,
I don't know. There's a lot of time, and some of those miniature games are like unique. Like they only exist there. There's a few of them that are like that.
That's pretty cool.
Because it's like somebody's custom, game system, and and they're running like their own miniature. A few of them, there's one that's always there. It's like this kind of sci-fi, Weird West themed one, and the parties are like one of them is like based on like the crew of the Firefly, and like another one's kind of
cool.
You got like all kinds of different themes and like uniquely painted miniatures for them. Yeah, I mean, another one like I always like doing there is like a kaiju battle, and pretty much everybody.
Oh, that's the one you did there. You had it filmed a little bit. Yeah. That looked cool. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, though, probably I won't play anything because if I went there, I'd probably end up just meeting up with all the people that I want to see that go to these all the time. So I'll probably end up.
James would meet all the people and spend all the money. We know.
Yeah, meet all the people and spend all the money.
We know what he would do.
Look, that's exactly how that works.
And I would
after the third day
watching him spend all the money.
I literally already know that if I go there, I would literally have that backpack because I have it.
Yeah.
Fill it with games, go back to the hotel room, clear it out, and go back.
Oh man,
that's pretty much how that would work.
So we've talked about kind of disappointments for the year. we've talked about really the things that we really enjoyed for the year and things that we were happy we spent our money on for this year. So if you could only, again, this is 2023 we're thinking about. If you could only recommend one game to everybody to like try to play based off of games you played this year, what would be that one game that you would be like, you got to go do it?
You're not gonna like my answer, so everyone else can go first.
No, no, no. I want to hear the answer I don't like.
You don't want to hear the answer you don't like. Well, for me, it's not going to be any of the epic games that I like.
Okay.
So it's not going to be like Dune Imperium, which is an amazing game. It's not going to be like Twilight Imperium 4th edition or even Last Light. I think where I would say recommend like the best game that I played for the year is going to be a lighter game. So sort of like Fort, because I feel that if I'm going to say this is the best game, it needs to be able to work with the majority of people to be able to easily explain and easily get into, because our hobby is very small. We don't actually have that many people in it. So it has to be a game that is I enjoy playing and will play anytime anyone ever asks me, but the complexity is low enough for everyone else. Dixit doesn't exist. There's never been a Dixit published, and my daughters cheat. I'm just saying,
no,
they cheat.
No, I don't hate that reasoning at all. And I think Fort is a really good choice, actually.
Yeah, it was my highlight of the
I
year
believe
for that.
you're the one who ran that one for us.
I really enjoyed playing Fort. I've played it a couple times this year, at least. And that
I will take all your kids.
The theme,
your kids. That's
what again the
well,
theme
now.
of that game. The theme of that game, I feel like really shines through as you're building your fort, and again, I don't see it as taking your kids.
No, here's
I'm stealing your friends. It's just it's the idea of like, okay, everybody's building their fort, and your fort all of a sudden has got like the new cool edition, and all the kids are running over to your fort now.
Look,
because because you got the cool fort filled with pizza. It's a really fun little game, and like you said, I can totally understand why you would recommend it. It'd be a very simple game to sit down and introduce somebody to, and them to grasp it and enjoy it very quickly.
And if you really want, there is good layers of strategy in the game.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Because you have to do some serious hand management in that game to be able to follow when everyone else is doing it. You got a lot of decisions to make. But me explaining how to play the game and you getting into it, very low bar.
Yeah.
But it's still good for gamers.
Yep, absolutely. It's not an old game. It came out in 2020. It's still fairly new.
New to me.
Yeah, it's right. I was gonna say really new to you and us. Yeah. But you know, even the publication date wasn't that long ago. And so if you can get a hold of this one, I would assume it's fairly inexpensive.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be that bad. I'm guessing between $20 and $30 would probably be
that would be my guess.
Probably
as well,
on sale,
probably.
But that's probably what you'll get it for.
Yeah, that would be my guess as well.
Yeah.
So anybody else? What's the game that you're going to recommend to people?
Yeah, I'm using the same logic as James. I want to recommend Expedition, but that can be really hard, especially for your first couple games of it. And it's really hard to recommend something that takes several playthroughs of it to actually start enjoying it and really getting into it. So I'm going to go with the Fox Experiment.
Okay.
Which I recently got, is right behind me. And this is a pleasant theme. You are raising foxes and trying to foster good traits and make those go down the generations. It's basically a dice chalker, and it has nice little elements of you can actually name your foxes, and it's completely optional, but does add a lot of immersion, and you feel connected to the game a lot more. And we played it on the channel. I think everybody enjoyed it. It's a very pleasant game.
I missed that day.
Yeah, you did miss that day. That was sad.
I'm so sad that I missed that game. But my question is, did you play with the expansion yet? What did you think of the expansion? If you did,
I have not
Yeah,
played it
but
with the
okay.
expansion yet.
Yeah,
I
I
think-
haven't played with the expansion yet either.
The expansion looks pretty substantial.
Expansion is primarily adding a 5th and 6th player, but I believe there's
Okay, so you got a lot
other
of
things
components
it's
for
doing
that.
as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
John?
unlike the other two, I am not weak and have
You're
to
not
feel like
weak. You're gonna be like,
I'm
I
not-
recommend on
I
Mars.
recommend,
Which is a great game.
Civilization, the 64 player one.
The 64. That mega is that
Mega Civ-
actually a purchasable game?
I
The
saw
Mega
it
Civ.
for purchase at like VGG.
Not that I
Con
think you
once.
should get it, but
No,
I'm just saying, like,
but I was tempted, but no. Thing is, I do feel like if I'm going to recommend something, it probably needs to be something that came out this year.
okay.
I kind of want to go for Great Western Trails New Zealand because
Oh yeah, you're all over this.
I'm all over that one.
You just
That
want to
was-
herd your sheep.
yeah. Oh, the sheep, it does do a whole lot for the game.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I'm going to recommend something, I want maybe something a little more thematic, maybe a little more interesting. Because
Okay.
I'm going more for, instead of the intro game, like trying to bring, new people in, but something that is at least a different experience for somebody who's already been playing games and wants to, like, hey, I want something different to try. But, has a theme and the mechanics match the theme. So I'm going with Evacuation.
I haven't played that one.
It's really cool. So this one, it's an economy game, and you start out with your economy. It's already built. You already have a fully functioning economy.
Engine.
You already have your engine, and it's already running. Now you got to dismantle it and send it across the universe to another planet, because guess
That's
what?
what you
We're
do.
losing the atmosphere on our current one. You got to get out of here. And so everything that you wind up leaving behind is negative points for you. So you're basically trying to figure out what parts of your economy to dismantle and send over, and then start building up on the other one, because you are keeping track of two different sets of resources. You have your resources back on the old planet, where you're doing things like buying starships, then building starships to go and send out to the other side. And then you're also building resources and, to, receive and also get fuel and send those ships back. And then also trying to build up your economy, because you're trying to rebuild society on the other one. And so it's a 4-player game. And in fact, part of the mechanics, if you go and take a look at the board, you could see that there's also like another track where you're basically have these satellites that you're using to kind of determine what types of areas you can settle on the new world. And that's also part of the new resources that you're getting, is trying to, like, hey, okay, I need to go and build in the forests. And to be able to do that, you need to get your satellites moved over from the old world to the new world. And that also determines how many actions you have too,
Okay.
and the types of actions you can take. And you have to kind of shift both of them at the same time. So you can't get too far away. So you can't just, like, because you have two satellites, that you have to get over to the new world eventually. And they can't get too far ahead. So you can't just ship one all the way to the other end and leave the other one there. You have to kind of shimmy them and decide where you're wanting. And as you're going along, where you end on those tracks also gives you other bonuses that you use to activate and play your other abilities that you have on there. And it also kind of determines, where you can, like what locations you can build at. And then there's also some other in-game scoring that kind of go with that as well. You have kind of the secret objectives that that you're scoring on, and the public ones as well.
It sounds really, really cool.
Yeah. I would definitely love to run that too at some point, because I think that just came
CivCon,
out.
CosCon.
Yep. Yeah, that's one of the ones I haven't picked up yet that I'm is on my wish list.
Yeah, that one sounds really cool. How about you, Peter?
Yeah, so for me, the game came out last year, 2022. I played it though for the first time this year. I think I played it for the first time this year. I kind of along the same lines as James and Nathan, with this being a game that should be fairly easy to get a hold of. not overly complex, but in enjoyable, easy to understand, pretty to look at, because I like that. I like pretty to look at games. Especially if you do, well, I don't know that you could. It's more expensive, obviously, to try to get a hold of a deluxe edition, but even the standard edition is good. I really enjoyed Flamecraft. And so
yeah.
and so that would be one that I would recommend as well. Though I absolutely would back up James on recommending Fort to people as well. But Flamecraft, with the dragons is, I think, a very fun game. And I have enjoyed it the times that I have played it. So,
And even the non-deluxe version feels pretty deluxe.
oh yeah,
With that nice
absolutely.
neoprene mat
Yep.
and all the really cool stuff.
Yeah, it's
a
really
great game.
nice. So I've played both the standard and the deluxe editions, and did not feel, any kind of loss at playing. The only thing I missed, I really like those little teeny dragon miniatures that came with the deluxe edition.
Yeah.
Rather
But
than
the-
the
yeah.
but the wooden dragon meeples are absolutely fantastic too. They're good little meeples.
I think it had
So,
metal coins too, didn't it? On the deluxe one.
the deluxe edition did have metal coins, and all of the little bits and bobs were wooden tokens that had like kind of like a lighter etching around the edges.
Cool.
That was really pretty and nice, rather than just little punch outs. But again, good game.
Yep. Yeah, I will say, just talking, but one of the games I just played that I think and I like Euros or games that are like that or whatever. We had a whole thing on whether it's a Euro or not. I don't care. But Nucleum is a really fun game. I really enjoy that. In Nucleum, you this alternate history. They figured out nuclear power 100 years before we did, and they call it nucleum, and then they're nucleum reactors, and you have to mine uranium, or you could be pushing down coal. But the whole point of the game, and this will sound familiar to other styles of games that are heavier like this, you will be putting down tracks to connect the power plants or the mines, the power plants, or the to these different zones, which are your city zones, and you'll be trying to power the different buildings there for points. But there's a lot of layers to this game, and it's a lot of fun managing that. You have the setup of the game. Holy monkeys!
There's a lot happening in this game. I'm looking at images. I'm looking at pictures right now, and there's a lot happening on this table.
Yeah, there's a lot. But the thing is with the game is, I really do feel like I can teach it to you really quickly. And even though you might get overwhelmed with the plethora of things that are there, the actual thing that you do is broken down to only one of two things. Or one of three things, actually. Sorry, the other ones. And I keep messing this up. I think it's called recharge, refresh, or whatever. That's basically where you get your income in and you get your stuff back. Yeah.
James is like, you're just doing one of two things. Or no, maybe it's one of three. It's okay. It's one of five things, everybody.
One of five things. You're either going to play an action tile, if you have one, or you're going to be placing an action tile out as a train track, or you're going to be doing the whatever the heck it's called, refresh or recharge. That's it. The action tiles, there's really only 5 different main things you can do, and the iconography is pretty straightforward. And really, all these 5 different things you can do, 5 or 6, are pretty straightforward. The thing that I will highlight with the game, and I really want to make sure people understand it before they start, is getting those little victory point tokens is the most important part of the game. They don't seem like a lot of points, but what it does is when you refresh, recharge, or whatever it does, there's this scythe-like track on the side, and there's rules for placing your star. You can only place one of your stars in a block. But if you happen to not be able to progress to another block or something in your following refresh, you will basically be hamstrung. You will get some bonuses, but every single one of your stars will be -3 points at the end of the game. So you have to be extremely careful with it. I do highly recommend that if you want to have the best experience with your players for Nucleum, that you take time and focus on that. Because the rest is pretty easy, but just make sure that they're aware that this is something that they need to pay attention to, especially if they're playing it for the first time. But that was a great game. And it's a heavier game too.
I do really want to try to play that game, and I wanted to mention I was watching your review of it just recently, and you hadn't, shaved your head down, so I can see all the gray hairs.
Okay, then.
Anyway,
That's getting edited out of the episode.
We're like, and then be like, I saw you did the episode, and I had all. Yeah. So yeah, I was really surprised about that one. I do like super heavy games. Like I did like Feudum. Nathan and I didn't get to play it. I showed him the rules. And I'm like, do you think we can play this? And he was hesitant with the group that we had.
I would have no issue with it.
Yeah.
But the other people we were
the other
playing
people
with,
I don't think could have. It would have been awful. Feudum is a now Feudum is not like Nucleum. Feudum is a lot of things. There's a lot of layers to it, and it's a hardcore game that is definitely worth playing with people that are ready for a hardcore game.
Look, you got to be ready for at least like the 2-hour teach.
It's a long teach. It's not 2 hours, but it's a long teach. And also, I don't think you can play it once. You will learn the game in the first play. I really think that the first game is a learning game, and it's not a short game. And then you play your second game, and it's all on.
Yeah, like when we were going over the rules to see if it was something we could actually play, I think my biggest concern was the terminology they used. It's like they used more different terminologies than they needed to. There was like, okay, this term is for this thing that you really only use for this one action, or it's the same thing but just different terminology if you're using it this way.
And it's with the guilds mainly, because it's a different terminology for each guild. And if you don't understand the guild, you will lose the game. The way that they chain together is how you win. That's the majority of points. So if you don't understand what's happening or what you're trying to do, you will get destroyed. But if you have other people, the game shine. It's a hard game to recommend because it shines when everyone knows what they're doing, and it does it when no one does, or not everyone.
So I wanted to ask the next question being, we talked about games we picked up and we're really happy we picked up. Are there games you wish you had picked up that you didn't? And I'll start just to give people a chance to think. Obviously, there's Heat, but I'll eventually get Heat. So I'm not too disappointed with that. Ice is the one that I was really, really curious about, really thought a lot about backing on Kickstarter. It was pretty expensive, but it looks really nice. I'm not 100% sure on the gameplay. As more videos come out and I watch more of other people playing it, I'll find out more about that. But the cover art is amazing. And then this board is a 5-layer board that has tiles on it. Cool. And it's supposed to be ice, so it's all white. And then you're removing tiles as you excavate through the ice and revealing the tiles below. As you get deeper, you get better and better rewards. And it looks really phenomenal. And, that layered effect is really cool. And my biggest red flags that I didn't back it for is I was concerned about the complexity of setup, having to build those layers in and randomize it and not know what's on each layer. But it does look like it actually came out as a really good game. But again, I will have to find out by watching more videos, and I'm not sure I can actually get it because it was Kickstarter. I'm not sure if it's going on retail or not.
Yeah. How about you guys?
You know what? For me, I'm gonna go with 11.
Oh man, I remember that. What's 11 again?
That's
It's
the
the
football manager, soccer
Football
manager.
Manager.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I was really that would be another one that could also easily have been under. I was really surprised by that game because I mean I'm not a huge football of the non-American type. Uh that's not
You
really
mean them
my.
foosball?
Yes, I'm not really into the
Foosball
well,
players.
I'm more into foosball. That's
Foosball's
the
cool. Yeah,
yes.
but I think that was Happy Gilmore, or not Happy Gilmore, freaking Waterboy.
Mm,
You're playing the
Yeah,
foosball.
that is a Waterboy reference.
man, I've only seen that movie once and I don't
So
even remember that.
I don't know 11. Didn't hear about this one.
Yeah, so it's like a football manager. Like basically you're managing a football team. And so you're basically, recruiting players and you're running simulated matches as a part of a league, series of games. And I really enjoyed it. It was surprisingly like the mechanics felt like they fit the theming. And I mean, it was, because I mean, I do enjoy playing a lot of sim games, it's kind of like one of my other little like hobbies, like PC sim games. And it was, and it scratches that itch. Um, I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of like you have because you're recruiting different people for your office, so you're kind of, you're kind of looking to try and it's like a little bit of a tableau builder too, because you're trying to build your team that you then send out because you then also decide, okay, these guys are playing forward. I'm going to recruit this guy because I need a good goalie. I need to get these people to work in my office, because this one here is going to give me, bonuses to training and this these ones are going to give us more options here and you're kind of building a tableau and trying to like those different bonuses for them and you're even worrying about advertising and everything else like it has all kinds of these different elements and it works. So I mean I only got to play it once, but I mean I've been itching to play that one again as well.
Yeah. I don't know that I have any from this year at all that I felt, bad for missing out on necessary. I know that I could get them in the future for the most part. I don't think there's any one game that is just not reprinting. And the deluxe components on Kickstarter and GameFound don't really thrill me as much as they used to in the past, for the most part. With 3D printers and cool friends like our mutual friend dude there that gave me these. I can't even see them, but they're oh man, you can't even see them. Whatever. They're really cool little skulls for Lords of Waterdeep. So if you were in our Lords of Waterdeep tournament and you saw his little skulls there, he gave me a set of the little skulls. So yeah, I mean, with being able to print stuff and basically if it's a great game, it's going to be in stock for the most part. The only game I really, really was sad that I missed out on, which I have only had one play of and I want to play it again, is that Uprising game. They had a second edition of it, which was not second edition, but they had a sequel to it. And the game is so massive that they can't print it outside of Kickstarter / GameFound where they had it on. And it was like an ice themed one, which really reminded me of like the Hero Quest vibe to it when they did the ice expansion. That's the only Kickstarter I can think of that I really sad that I missed out on. 4X cooperative game.
Yeah, and I was gonna say I don't think I have anything for this year that I'm like that I missed out on. So but since we are really fun individuals who for some reason like to review and to rate things, I think the last thing I would like us to do is rate the year 2023 for games. How do you feel like this year measured up on a scale of 1 to 10?
All right, so let me give you some stats here for our reviews here, so people will know. Like, I had that up here, the exact stat. So as of a couple days ago, we've had 594 videos go up, and we generally do an unboxing with all our videos. So you can figure, about a little more than half of those, because we don't unbox everything.
Right.
A little more than half of those are full reviews. So I would say we probably had close to 300 full reviews of RPGs, miniatures, and board games. So we went through a lot.
Yeah.
And not everything was from this year, but most of it, or a good portion of it, was. And I'll just start off with myself. I would probably rate this year a 6 or 7. A lot of the things that I'm really super excited about, and I think are going to be epic games, is just coming out next year. So I might have done a preview video for some of the stuff. I'm not counting those. But overall, it's been a year for board games. There's some super great games. Like I said, Percival's a really great game. That was really cool. Percival, however you say it, Gathering Darkness. It's a really good game. And I had others that are really good, but it was just out of the slog of games that I reviewed. Yeah. I'll say 6. How about you guys?
I think there were some really good games that I enjoyed, but overall, I think a big focus on this year seemed to be on making games available that, older games that, have kind of waned and then come back, and, games that you couldn't get. Am I frozen and you didn't hear any of this?
Well, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yep, we can hear you.
There you go.
Now we can see you too.
Oh, man, go back. Go back.
Yeah, the other one was better. Yeah. So you were saying?
So I was saying, I think overall, there was some really good games this year, but it seemed like a lot of the focus was on re-releasing great games from prior years. Like Raw came out with a deluxe edition,
and that looks really nice. The art, for a game that doesn't have any art hardly.
Thunder Road was technically a reprint, although I think they changed the game significantly.
Well, that was Restoration Games. That was the whole point, because the original game was not that great. Just like Fireball Island and stuff. If you replay the original one, it's not that great. So
I have Mystery of the Abbey coming, and a lot of it seemed to be focusing on great games that have been out of focus for a little while, and just bring those back.
Yeah, like Big Boss. But Big Boss was fairly. It has a pretty big overhaul to it, so it's second edition of games, at least.
Yeah, they had a new version of Acquired too. So which I was tempted to get because I have the Hasbro edition.
Like, I can't have the Hasbro stuff anymore. I don't know that I have very many Hasbro games.
I have one big one.
Yeah, which is a little. So Hero Quest is a great game. It's I'm really nostalgic about it. But that shows how lazy Hasbro is, where they just verbatim reprinted it. I would really thought that they should have done the restoration style game and like breathed life into it. Update some of the, at this point, not so great stuff in it.
Yeah, like probably fixing like movement and things like that.
Movement's a big thing. It's
like
bad.
I mean, you could. I mean, there's really nothing keeping you from just like fixing movement. I mean, you can.
There's a fan variant if you go to BGG that fixes movement. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't, but I'll probably check that out, because I mean, I have like a few ideas of my own, but definitely seeing some other people's would be good.
And Hasbro in general is like, they always seem to have some major flaw in their production values.
It's called them.
Like,
I mean, there was definitely a lot of like those like high end, release sets, that came in, like they were just like mangled with magic. I mean,
also like Inquire, you have the grid of the board grid that has like all the bingo style locations. In the Hasbro version, you cannot read those locations because it's just black on black. So I've been meaning to paint it.
So James gave 2023 a 6 out of 10. Nathan, you gave it a.
I didn't give it a number, but
I'm gonna force you to right now.
Yeah, you have to give a number.
No,
And
no,
in the comments
fight him on this. Do
specifically
elementary
say,
school. Give him like an S, SS.
No. In the comments,
Yes.
bro, just say how wrong Nathan is, specifically, just Nathan.
because of my rating that I haven't given yet.
Yes. What's your rating?
Because I do like getting the classic games back, and I also didn't mention that a lot of the shipping issues
There's a lot of caveats here.
have kind of rectified themselves this year.
Huh?
We've been getting games on time for the most part.
Okay.
I would say 7.5.
7.5. All right.
Why is that 0.5?
He's got
Where's it?
Because
I didn't give him the option of like 1 out of 20.
He's like,
Or
I
1 out
said,
of 30.
I'm between 7
He's
and
got to give
8.
it. He's got to give it a point there.
It's
Okay.
arbitrary numbers.
John, what about you?
Well, I'm gonna rate mine from somewhere between Monopoly and Twilight Imperium.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
And I'll go with Flux.
He's gonna
It's
go
a
with
2?
Oh, ouch!
It's a 2?
We're sorry. We're sorry, Flux, for James's harsh comment just now.
I'm not.
No,
sorry.
Flux is a fine game. It's a fine game, but it's a 2.
Yeah. So with mine, looking
Mhm.
back on the year, like I almost have like 2 different ratings because I have kind of like
This is
my
cheating.
own personal rating
Yeah,
of what
okay.
I've experienced this year,
And your
Okay.
third person
Comparison.
rating.
and then like kind of the rating of everything on the whole.
Okay.
And my personal rating, I would probably go, it's been a pretty good year. Not the best year. So
Mhm.
I would go for like 8.5, maybe closer
What is
to
this
9.
0.5 stuff happening?
Because
Because you can.
we can.
So
And
so
then
so yeah. So this is like an 8.5 to a 9 for your personal experience of 2023 and playing
Right.
games.
in playing games, because I've played a lot of like games that I either found surprising or that I had never played before.
Sure.
I also
Mhm.
took a lot more like effort even just thinking about the games, like of what games I played. Like this is probably like the first year that I've probably recorded at least 75% of my plays on on something, so I actually could remember what I have played.
Right.
So I mean, as far as me, yeah, I've gotten to play like between that and Origins, you know, being pretty good, except for a few things, namely the debacle that was the VIG. But
Yeah, I mean they always have a problem though.
but yeah, they
don't
always
know how
have
to-
a
They
problem.
still don't know how to run it right, but that's
Yeah.
fine.
I mean, yeah, like they get better, and then they're like, oh, the thing is always annoying when that was like, oh, one of our big bonuses that we don't make you wait in line for hours to get your badge when you show up on site if you pay us extra money. It's like, but I get my badge mailed to me by like most other conventions that I go to.
Yeah.
So like that's not even like that's like a non-issue. But I digress on that. It's still a lot of fun because
Mhm.
that's mainly because of all the people who are there, who are running the games and everything else. But when I then go and take a look at things that have happened on the whole, I mean, taking a look at a lot of things like with Hasbro, with D&D, OGL, and also even like kind of what happens at some of these conventions also for like the smaller medium sized people who are there. I mean it's looking more like a 5. I mean because it's just kind of a wash. It's kind of, I feel like a lot of there's a lot of good things that are kind of happening out there with some of the smaller like people being able to go to open crowdfunding and being able to get things out there that we couldn't have before. But I mean also then on the other side you have some of these other big producers that are just making things unpleasant, for a lot of
Yeah.
the, people who work and are in the industry.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so, yeah, that's kind of why, on a whole, it's kind of, I mean, I can't overlook, what's going on,
Yeah, for
but,
sure.
but for me personally, I've had a pretty good game playing year.
All right. Just because
So
we're doing fractions, mine
yeah.
is 6.12547.
Perfect.
All right.
So for me, I understand how John kind of split his up there. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just looking for a single number here for myself.
You're doing it right.
I'm going, I feel like this year was probably for me about a 7. I really enjoyed the quite a few of the games that I got to play. I thought there were some really good games coming out, especially in the RPG world. I was very pleased seeing some of these smaller companies stepping up and putting out a lot of stuff that is really well made. And with that in mind, and the junk that is currently happening, I am predicting like a 9 next year. I'm going to predict next year is going to be a 9 for me because I think there's going to be some really good repercussions for the junk that is happening this year. That is going to, I think there are going to be some people who are going to step up because of what has either happened to them or to the industry. And I think some really great stuff is going to happen this next year. So I'm going to stick my flag on a 9 next year for board games and RPGs. I think it's going to be a really great year. And so I am looking forward to that. So let's end that. I'm going to end that on a happy note, on a looking forward to it note. So
I'm
So
just
you
gonna say
gave
I
2 scores
agree
too,
with
then.
you. I think
I did still put 2 scores in there.
I think next year is going to be amazing.
It's going to be awesome.
Just like the slate of games that didn't make it this year that are coming out next year, just in general.
Yep.
And some of the ones that are scheduled for next year. Oh my gosh, there's so many like AAA titles of board games that and RPGs even.
So you're hearing it first here, everybody. TGG, we're predicting banner year for games next year.
It
It's
might
gonna
be the
awesome.
best year. We'll see.
Might be the best.
We're gonna see. So yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode, except for when Nathan was talking, of course.
Yeah, whatever.
But Nathan's like, "What's happening?"
It's like, what?
Why?
You know what? I do want to point out something funny. If you average my 2 scores, it basically is a 7 like everybody else's.
Except
again, it's just a wash.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I hope you all have a good night.
Thanks for watching, everybody.